Before we begin today's story, I want you to imagine something. You serve your country in the military. You endure brutal training that destroys your mental health. Your girlfriend supports you through it all, tells you how proud she is. And then when you come home struggling with social anxiety, she cheats on you. And when you discover the affair, she tells everyone you know that you raped her. Your family, your friends, her family. Everyone believes her. You live in fear of being discharged from the military. Your reputation destroyed forever. What would you do? This man endured that nightmare for over a year, gathering evidence, planning his revenge. And when he finally struck back, he destroyed her entire life. Let me tell you this story from the very beginning. In late May 2016, this man asked his crush of 3 years out on a coffee date. We'll call her Kate. 3 dates later, they made things official. For the next 7 months, their relationship felt too good to be true. They clicked on so many interests. They hardly ever disagreed on anything. They were very open with each other, which led to an incredible sex life. They both had good jobs, so they had money to spoil one another. And their families were both enthusiastic about their relationship. Everything was perfect, or so it seemed. In January 2017, he was accepted into his country's Armed Forces Reserve program as a combat engineer. He underwent basic training from February to late April, and it was up until then the hardest thing he had ever done. There were several times he thought he wouldn't graduate. The training was brutal. Physically exhausting, mentally draining, and the only thing that kept him going was Kate's words of encouragement over texts and calls. She was there when he received his basic training certificate and never let him forget how proud she was of him. She was his rock, his motivation, his reason to push through. As part of his job in the reserves, he would have to go away in the summer for advanced training. Between early June to late August, 400 kilometers away from home, almost their entire summer break, Kate fully supported him, told him to go, to further his military career. She believed in him. The summer was brutal on him. He was a social outcast from every clique that formed on the course. He was the butt of several jokes. His self-esteem plummeted through the floor. But Kate's belief in me was what made him prevail. He passed as 5th best on the course, and he owed it all to her, or so he thought. Things between them started to sour after returning home. According to her, he wasn't as spontaneous and outgoing as before he went away. He was dismissive, took small jabs and jokes as personal insults, and would rather stay in, watch movies, and have sex instead of going out. Unbeknownst to both of them, he had developed some nasty social anxiety due to the events of the summer. The brutal training, the social isolation, the constant ridicule from his peers. It had broken something inside him, and it started affecting their relationship. Nearing their 2-year anniversary in 2018, they got into a heated argument over a small misunderstanding, and subsequently broke up. He was incredibly distraught, but then she texted him 3 days later, said she wanted to try and fix things. He didn't see her for 3 weeks, but they kept in touch every day, slowly mending things. When they officially got back together, nothing felt the same. Every time he talked with her, it was as if he was walking on eggshells, and it only worsened his anxiety, which in turn hurt their already damaged relationship. Then things finally came to a head at the end of July, while in school. Kate had met a guy named John. She saw in John what she used to see in him, and they quickly became very close friends. John consoled her through their breakup, and every little time he messed up afterwards. For the record, he knew of John, but never thought Kate would ever do anything with him. He trusted her, believed in her, thought she was better than that. He was wrong. One night after work, they had planned for him to stay the night at Kate's place. He arrived to see the two of them chilling on the living room couch. Kate said that John had dropped by for a spontaneous visit, and he was just leaving. After John left, she became cold and distant. He slowly accepted that their relationship was dead and asked her how things were between them. She echoed his thoughts, and they agreed to break up the next day. She said he could stay the night one last time, seeing how it was late, and she was still worried about him. From there on until she fell asleep, Kate became uncharacteristically glued to and protective of her phone. In the past, she wouldn't care if he had glanced over to catch her and her friends texting about whatever. But now she did her best to hide the screen from him. He asked her about it, and she said it was private stuff, which only raised more questions. After she fell asleep, curiosity got the better of him. He unlocked her phone. He knew her passcode and found hundreds of messages between her and John. Messages about how she was now single, how exciting it was that they could now be a couple in public, and laughing at him about every little thing he did. He quietly sobbed as he read through each hurtful text. His crying wasn't as quiet as he thought. Kate stirred, and once she realized what he was doing, she threw a fit. He couldn't find the anger or words to combat her, so he just grabbed his stuff and left, with Kate shouting and yelling at him the whole time. It was late in the morning when he got home. He just broke down and ugly cried all night. He called in sick from work the next day and spent it sulking in his bed. Heartbroken, betrayed, destroyed. The day after, he got several angry texts from Kate's friends and family. In a bid to save her image and denounce anything he might say about her, she told anyone she knew that he had forced himself upon her that night, in one last attempt to, quote, get some before they broke up, and left after the deed was done. Though what he had done was, quote, scarring, she refused to press charges, because she, quote, didn't want to make a circus of her life in court, and was the bigger person by doing so. Think about that for a moment. She falsely accused him of rape, told her entire family, her friends, his friends, everyone, that he had sexually assaulted her, raped her, forced himself on her, and she was painting herself as the hero, the bigger person, for not pressing charges. He spent the next few months in fear that her allegation would have him discharged from the army, his image forever tarnished, his career destroyed, his life ruined. But nothing ever happened. She never pressed charges, because it was all a lie. But the damage was done. Everyone believed her. No one believed him. 5 months afterwards, Kate direct messaged him. After pleasantries, she basically apologized for the whole thing and actually admitted to faking it. The rape accusation, she admitted it was fake, but she would never publicly admit it. To save her own reputation, his image be damned. This angered him, but he kept cool. He screenshot the texts and continued talking with her. He had a plan, a long game, and he needed evidence. Over the next 3 months, she entered into a cycle of events. First, she would complain about a current life situation, usually about John screwing up in their relationship in one way or another, and asking for advice. Second, she would lament their relationship, how he never screwed up like John did, how she wished they could go back to the way things were, blah blah blah. Third, she would ignore him, because John finally pulled his head out of his behind, did some huge romantic gesture, and saved their relationship. Fourth, she would go on a smear campaign on social media about their relationship, employing her friends for help, knowing full well that he would see it all, and trying to bait him into an argument. Fifth, it would work. She would try to turn the argument around and paint him as the bad guy, and then block him for about a month, before repeating the cycle. This happened 3 times like clockwork, and always left him burnt out and broken. But a part of him wanted it to happen. Each time it did, he took screenshots of every damning thing she said. He had a full memory card of everything he compiled. Before he finally decided it was time for revenge, time for justice, time to expose her for the liar she was. Making several picture copies of the worst text messages he caught, he bought several manila envelopes and mailed them to everyone he thought would matter to Kate. Her parents, grandparents, extended family she was super close with, best friends, work boss, co-workers, teachers, whoever he could find a mailing address for. He made sure that anyone getting the envelope would know that the texts were between him and Kate, and sent them off. And then he waited. Within 3 weeks, he got results. Some of the people who messaged him to shame and insult him before now apologized for their words, for believing Kate, for not hearing his side. My favorite was from her own parents, who went on to say that they were deeply sorry about their daughter's behavior, how they raised her to be better than how she acted, and to please not pursue any legal actions. The thought had crossed his mind, but he didn't have the money, nor the mental fortitude to fight a legal battle. He told them he'd think about it, and that they'd be the first to know besides Kate if he did. Kate sent him some texts as well. Things like, "How could you betray my trust like that? Or you ruin my life, you bastard." Think about the audacity of that. She betrayed him, cheated on him, falsely accused him of rape, destroyed his reputation, and now she's accusing him of betraying her trust by exposing the truth, by showing everyone the evidence, the proof that she lied. He didn't reply. He'd just read every angry text that flew in with a satisfied grin, and then blocked her when they stopped. He never fully found out how badly her life was affected by his revenge, but he does know that she dropped out of school and no longer has a job. Her reputation was destroyed. Her family knew the truth. Her friends knew the truth. Her boss knew the truth. Everyone knew what she had done, that she was a liar, a cheater, someone who would falsely accuse an innocent man of rape to save her own reputation. She lost everything, and he hopes John was worth it. 4 years later, he posted an update. He ended therapy around the 9-month mark. It got to the point where he was asking himself, "Why am I going in?" and coming up with no good answers. He had been socializing more, developed a group of friends, slowly working his way out of his bubble. At that point, therapy was just draining his funds. Every so often, he does get that reclusive feeling to just hide away. But it goes away if he sits down and enjoys his hobbies for an hour or two. He got into gunsmithing and electronics, and he's always happy to show off his creations. With his newfound attitude, he applied for Army leadership and auxiliary courses. Those courses took him across the country, to places he would have never seen on his own dime. He even left his country for military exercises and training in allied countries. He's met even more people who he can consider his brothers and sisters, and he still talks to them on the regular over Discord. Through his travels, he met a wonderful person he calls Jody. She's been a rock in his life since they met, and their awesome friendship eventually bloomed into more. She originally lived 500 kilometers away from him, and he'd only see her on postings to her location. But one day, she said she was coming back with him for job opportunities in his city. They drove back together. She got a place near him. They hung out more, and the rest is history. They celebrated 2 years together last month. When he made the original post, it was almost a year after he had last heard from Kate. He never thought he'd ever interact with her again. Through stalking her socials, he learned that she and John broke up, but not before having a kid together. John became a deadbeat dad, and Kate got together with some other dude. Jody likes posting things online about her life. She recently posted about the dinner date they went on for their 2-year anniversary. Apparently, it came up on Kate's feed. and she instantly recognized his quote dumb, happy face, as she put it. She messaged him through another account, originally asking if they could talk and reconcile the past. He politely declined, and he thought that was it. Kate then messaged Jody, asking if they could talk about him, girl to girl. Jody immediately showed him the message and asked about it. He had never told Jody about his past, since it's in the past, and it's never come up. He joked about his evil ex from time to time, but never really elaborated. He sat Jody down and told her that Kate is that evil ex. He explained what happened, showed her the evidence, and said she had contacted him too. He showed her the texts and reassured her that he wants absolutely nothing to do with Kate. Jody said she understood and that she loves him. She then texted Kate, telling her that he had already declined her, and she also didn't want to talk. Let me ask you something. If you were in this man's position, what would you have done? Would you have exposed her immediately? Would you have pressed charges? Or would you have done exactly what he did? Gathered evidence for a year, compiled every damning message, every admission, every lie, and then systematically destroyed her reputation with the truth. He served his country, developed social anxiety from brutal training, came home broken, and she cheated on him, falsely accused him of rape, destroyed his reputation, made him fear for his career, his future, his life. And then she had the audacity to contact him, to complain about her new boyfriend, to say she missed him, to bait him into arguments, to block him, and repeat the cycle, all while never publicly admitting she lied about the rape accusation. So he took screenshots of everything, her admitting she faked it, her admitting she cheated, her talking trash about him, everything, and he sent it to everyone in her life. Her parents apologized. Some of her friends apologized. She lost her job, dropped out of school, her reputation destroyed, and 4 years later, he's thriving. He's in love with an amazing woman named Jody. He's traveled the world with the military. He's made lifelong friends. He's happy, healthy, successful. And Kate, she's a single mother with a deadbeat baby daddy, still trying to contact him 4 years later, still trying to insert herself into his life. But he's moved on. He's found happiness, and he owes none of it to her. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Was he right to expose her the way he did? Should he have pressed charges? Should he have moved on immediately without revenge? I genuinely read every single comment. And if you've ever been falsely accused of something you didn't do, if you've ever been betrayed by someone you loved and trusted, if you've ever had to rebuild your life after someone tried to destroy it, then hit that subscribe button right now. Because every single day, I bring you real stories from real people. Stories that make you think deeply about justice, revenge, and moving forward. Stories that make you feel something real. Stories that remind you that sometimes the best revenge is living well, and sometimes it's exposing the truth. Subscribe to Unfiltered Chronicles. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a single story, because tomorrow, I have another incredible story for you. And trust me, you absolutely will not want to miss it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.